everybody, taking a live look now inside Pfizer Forum, where Republican delegates are gearing up for another busy day in Milwaukee. Lots of big updates from the RNC, including President Trump choosing Ohio Senator JD Vance as his running mate. Vance was formally nominated during the afternoon session. Questions are now swirling over whether the former critic turned ally helps or hurts Mr. Trump. Well, joining me now is someone who is no stranger to the presidential campaign, Governor Mike Huckabee. He's the former governor of Arkansas who ran for a Republican nomination for president in 2008 and 2016. Lovely to see you and great to have you on Morning in America, Governor.
Well, thanks, Anna. Great to be with you and good to see you again.
Were you surprised by the pick?
Not really. There's been a very close developing relationship that J.D. Vance has had with President Trump. And I also think that the president's son, Donald Trump Jr., forging a very close friendship with J.D. Vance is also a big factor in this. But ultimately, it's a decision that the president feels comfortable with. He knows J.D. Vance is incredibly articulate, that his personal story is as much of an American dream story as we've ever had. I mean, it was even made into a movie, for heaven's sakes, and a best-selling book. So for all those reasons, I think J.D. Vance is a great choice for the president, and he's going to be a terrific campaigner.
You know, abortion is going to be a big issue that's going to come up in Chicago at the DNC. Do you think he's going to have to clarify his position further?
You know, I don't think so, because the fact is there are a lot of people who had misgivings about Donald Trump when he ran in 2016. Heck, I was on the stage with him as well. So, you know, I wasn't out there cheering for him at the first part of the process. But when I dropped out, I went immediately to endorse Trump. And a lot of it is that some people had these anxieties about Donald Trump. But once he got into office, they realized he deregulated business, he cut taxes. He caused NATO nations to start paying up their portion that they should have been paying all along. The world was a safer, better place. And, you know, they said, you know, maybe I was wrong about Trump. Maybe the media didn't tell me the whole story. I think that's true for a lot of Americans. And after this convention, and particularly after watching him so resilient, after being almost assassinated within a fraction of an inch, I think a lot of Americans say, yeah, I can vote for Donald Trump.
You know, this whole unity message that Donald Trump says he's pushing, he's torn up parts of his script for his speech that he's going to have. And then you saw J.D. Vance almost immediately coming out and pointing at the rhetoric from Joe Biden and Democrats, pointing to that as the reason that this happened to the former president. Is he going to really be a pit bull? Is he going to be the sort of yin to the yang, or are they cut from the same cloth and it's only a matter of time till they are on the same page even more?
Well, one of the roles of a vice presidential candidate is to be the guy that goes out there and does the attack. I don't think that'll change, but I do think there's going to be maybe a different tone, although I didn't hear it from President Biden in his interview with Lester Holt yesterday. I was expecting maybe a little bit more sobering response, a little bit more accountability for his speaking regarding putting Donald Trump in the bullseye. He didn't really own up to that in a way that I thought he could have and should have, after saying that we need to temper down the rhetoric. But this is politics. It's a full contact sport played without pads. So let's not pretend that this is going to be a sweet patty cakes kind of campaign on either side. It just isn't. That's not what politics is about.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time. Governor Mike Huckabee, thank you for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Anna.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.